even know? Does anyone in the media know? Good morning to you. Good Wednesday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Pirates. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and or hockey, I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Penguins in the same place that you found this. Remarkably, this morning, DK Pittsburgh Sports, our outlet, is reporting exclusively that the Pirates have been eliminated from the playoffs. Really, if you've seen that or heard that anywhere else, let me know. But before coming on to do this show, I just poked around online and couldn't find a syllable about it anywhere. It did happen, though. Cardinals 3, Pirates 1 last night at Busch Stadium. That combined with the Mets winning put the Pirates 12 games behind New York, the team that's currently holding the last wild card berth. And with 11 games to go, that's the end. That's 5 years of 5 playoff misses for Ben Cherington, Derek Shelton, and the rest of this administration. Going back a lot further, that's 29 misses in 32 years. And that, my friends, is why it's not news anywhere. Well, except with us. Jose Negron, our beat writer, is out in St. Louis, and he shared with me early this morning in working on his coverage that nobody there knew. There was no reaction when it was brought up. Now, I'm not being an idiot here. I am not suggesting the Pirates were going to make the playoffs or that should have been at the forefront of anyone's thoughts. But in general, when a team spends the better part of the summer, and let's remember that the Pirates did, looking at the standings, looking at the scoreboard, counting up the number of wild card games back or ahead, and looking at the rest of the schedule and seeing, it's the Padres and the Diamondbacks, and it's all these other teams right around you, and then there they are at the bottom of the cliff like Wile E. Coyote, and they don't even remember how they got there or what it was they were trying to attain. That might be the saddest reality of all. I was in Elmont, New York, just a handful of months ago when the Penguins were eliminated from the Stanley Cup playoffs after a really hard and too late push to try to get in. It was devastating. It was an awful place to be. They were sitting there, these guys, not just the players, the coaches, everybody, talking about how this point was lost in Toronto, that point in Ottawa or wherever, and they took it so hard. And then there's this franchise where they didn't even know that it happened, and no one around them, almost no one around them knew that it happened. But it did happen, and the reason that it happened is that this team, after July 30, back when everybody thought they were still in it, went 16-28, including last night. 16-28. So what am I supposed to talk about today? That the kid who just came up from the minors had 3 hits, yay him. That so-and-so pitched reasonably well, or that the offense struggled against Lance Lynn. I've got nothing. The franchise is a joke. The franchise in its current state is a joke. It's got a handful of real live impact ball players. Probably not a handful, actually. It's more akin to 3 or 4. And this is after 5 years. Did you know? I looked this up too, because somebody has to do this, right? The Pirates' winning percentage in the 2020s, meaning, of course, this decade, meaning, of course, entirely under Cherington and Shelton, is now .399. Did you know that the Pirates, in their 143-year history, have never had a decade below 400? This is the worst decade of Pittsburgh baseball ever. And these guys are acting like they're coming back. They're acting like everything's just A-okay. And you know what? For all we know right now, maybe it is. Maybe everything's just fine with Travis Williams and Bob Nutting. When we come back, J1Q.
It's Gun Storage Check Week. Help prevent unwanted access to your firearms. No one wants their unsecured gun to be used in an accident, a suicide, or a crime. Use lockboxes, safes, and locks to secure your firearms. Learn more at gunstoragecheck.org. That's gunstoragecheck.org. Brought to you by NSSF, the Firearm Industry Trade Association.
Today's J1Q comes from Jack, who says, DK, I believe Bob Nutting does want to win. Didn't he prove that when he dumped the previous regime? The sad part is he doesn't know how to hire the right people, and when he makes his choice, he puts 100% faith in it. Let's see what happens in a few weeks. It can't go on like this. Jack, as someone who is consistently putting out little narrative fires about Nutting, I mean, stuff that's just flat out not true, I'd hope that you can respect when I go in the other direction here. I think you stated at the very beginning there that Nutting does want to win a little too strongly. And let me say what I mean by that. Nutting would be happier with winning. Everything in his life and the lives of those around him becomes better when the team wins. So I see what you're saying when you say that, but I don't want it to come across when I say it as signifying that it's a priority for him or that it's the priority for him. It's not. It's not. As I keep saying, he's risk averse. He does not want to put money into something before it's already extra money. He's just not wired that way. If you or I, Jack, were running this team, meaning we were the owners, we would probably be lousy owners for the opposite reason, meaning we would just say, hey, forget it, man. Let's get all the players. Let's pack this stadium and get all that money back. And then something goes wrong, something, in Bradenton, somebody blows their arm out or whatever. Your whole season is shot before it even gets started. The crowds never come. The sponsorships fall off. The ratings drop. And then me and you, Jack, are sitting there like dummies, the worst owners of all time. But there is a middle ground to be had there between the way Nutting does things and the way me and you would do them, Jack. And that's what Pittsburgh needs. More than anything, do not forget that for all the times that I'm critical of Ben Cherington, Derek Shelton, any of the individual players, that all of this always points back to the very top. That the number one issue that this franchise has is that it's got an owner who does not know how to win and does not place winning as his top priority. All of the goofy, phantom talk radio nonsense that comes up about him, out of all of that, probably only about 3% of it is true. But that doesn't make him, a competent owner or the right fit to be an owner of a sports team in Pittsburgh, of all places, where people demand a winner. And now, as I'm saying this, I don't even remember what it was that you asked here. Oh, you said, didn't he prove that when he dumped the past regime? I thought it was a big move for him, and I applauded the move at the time, not just because it meant a new regime, but because it did involve a $17.2 million combined buyout for all these guys. Now, we can all quibble back and forth about, he made that money back by going into another rebuild and whatever else. Still did it. And if you ask me, he's got to do it again. He's got to do it again. This has been, to repeat, for emphasis and share it loud and clear to anyone who will listen, the worst decade of Pirates baseball, the 2020s, in a century and a half of the club's existence. You can't keep these people. I appreciate the question, Jack. I appreciate the offer to become a co-owner, and I appreciate everybody who listens to Daily Shot of Pirates. We're going to do another one of these tomorrow, just so that someone somewhere can acknowledge this team's failures as they're happening.